Back with Josh Kimbrell and Judah Kreinbrook, and we're going to talk about ECMO. So right now a big thing is refractory ventricular fibrillation, and we've talked a lot about dual sequential defibrillation, but also what about ECMO? We want to scoop these guys up and get them to ECMO. We don't want to mess around on scene. We want to get them to the magic ECMO machine, right?
ECMO is cool, but ROSC is better. So one thing that I think is really important when you look at these studies, so the big study everybody talks about, which is done by great folks over in Minneapolis, the ROSC trial had 30 patients included, and all 30 of these patients were transported rapidly to the hospital for refractory VFib. And once they got to the ED, they got either ACLS care or they got ECMO. Right? So the EMS transport calculation wasn't even a part of that. Really, that study to me is more something for cardiologists and intensivists and emergency physicians once you get to the hospital, if you're in a system that doesn't resuscitate aggressively on scene. We have a couple other trials that have come out, the Prague trial, the Inception trial. You can go read them on your own time, but they have a little bit of mixed results when we start to calculate that transport calculus. So I think we have some potentially effective interventions. We have dual sequential defibrillation. We have high quality CPR. Aggressively resuscitating these patients on scene should be your default unless we have a highly selected group of patients and your team is really ready to go, like Dr. Yiannopoulos and his group.
And when you say highly selective, we mean that you and the receiving facility should have an understanding on this specific patient if they should go, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. And then I think, that transport calculus that we talk about, there's this term floating around in the literature, intra-RS transport, IAT for short. And what this really is it's just talking about the paramedic behavior of when you scoop the patient up and you transport them, they're in arrest. It's intra-arrest transport. And that's actually been studied more and more in a rigorous fashion. And pretty much the best study that we have so far shows that in those who receive intra-arrest transport, survival is about half. That's without ECMO, that's in the pre-ECMO era. So if we're thinking about transport and it's actually causing poor resuscitation, we're robbing Peter to pay Paul with ECMO. And so I think a lot of people think about ECMO as, pre-hospital is just about low flow time. It's about getting it quicker. It's about getting it in the field. I think that there's probably more to it than that. If transport's really hurting patients before they get on pump, we might not see much benefit from ECMO. But if either we do it on a scene or if we were able to modify transport and make it safer, which would take more research, we could actually make these systems work for everyone.
And I can't wait to talk more about bringing ECMO to the patient. Thanks, guys.